Hello, I'm Alex Davies, and today I'm with Fredrik Adams, founder CEO of Firglas EIS. Hello, Fredrik.
Hi, Alex.
Hi. Perhaps you could start off by just telling me what the opportunity is if you invest in Firglas. What is it?
So in Firglas, we're going to build some state-of-the-art microalgae facilities to produce food-grade product. This is a production method which has emerged over the last couple of decades after a lot of research and originally come from cosmetics, but we think we can make some very attractive food-grade products such as fish feed, food supplements, and also alternative protein in the future to build a very important and profitable, valuable business.
And how much are you looking to raise?
So we're doing a £3 million EIS equity raise at the moment. We've also lined up some debt funding at project level because we're going to be building algae production facilities.
Before we go into all the details of the business, what's your experience and the experience of the team behind you?
My experience is since 2009 I've built a few renewable energy companies and also worked with some algae companies, but in renewable energy I started some biogas or anaerobic digestion businesses, and we've raised in total £120 million. We've built the largest food waste biogas business in the UK called Tamar Energy, which is now part of Biogen. Previously I was a venture capitalist for 10 years. In the team there are three notable executives with me, one of which is from the biogas business, Tamar Biogen. One is an expert from algae in the Netherlands who has built this pilot plant that we will talk about in a minute, and the fourth is somebody who's received a prize for bioenergy. So this is a team of extremely experienced people who've built big process engineering plants, and that's the nature of the challenge, but with quite a strong commercial background. We're interested in this opportunity because it's a very important market to address with a new production technique, a new production method. These systems have previously been built either very small scale for cosmetics, and there's been an ambition to make biofuel, which is a very low value product. We've found a system that can profitably target a very big opportunity in food waste, and with our combined experience, that's what we're going to address.
So let's talk about the plan. What are you going to do? What is Firglas? So you are buying, in effect, a greenhouse, or you're taking a greenhouse and growing algae?
Firglas as a company was formed in 2013. It started trading in 2013 and it's traded as a management business until now. It's built a few renewable energy and algae facilities, so anaerobic digestion, hydroelectric, and also algae facilities, and we've worked with various partners and had shareholdings in assets. What's new now is that we've decided to capitalize the company, so raise external capital in order to build plants, build projects. With this raise, we're intending to build two algae facilities, one in the Netherlands and one in Spain. The plant in the Netherlands would be the first one, and that's very much to scale up a larger scale pilot unit which has been operating for 3.5 years. What's novel is it's a very cost-effective design, and that gets us to the right unit cost or cost of production, which opens up many opportunities. So the first plant in Holland is very much scaling that up, and that's doing that with some of the best people in the industry in the Netherlands. In Spain, we've identified a site to do this, and we've chosen that site because it has the best growing conditions in Europe. So that's why we're doing these two commercial scale facilities. They're both 1 hectare facilities, and that's what we're going to do as a first step. So we're using proven systems that have been used elsewhere. There are possibly 20 facilities that are this size or bigger around the world. We've been to see many of these, so we've accumulated a lot of knowledge and best practice from around the world, and that's what we're going to replicate to address these very important and attractive markets.
And who are you going to sell to?
So in the food grade area, we will initially be selling product to two groups who are existing buyers of algae product or algae-derived product, and those will be either food supplement companies, so companies that make health foods and pills with active compounds. For example, omega-3, which many people will know from fish, is actually algae sourced and comes into fish oil simply through fish being an accumulation organism in the food chain. We can produce many algae strains which contain omega-3, which is important for food supplements. It's also important for fish feed, where the access to some higher value nutritional ingredients is difficult. So there's an existing market which we will target using algae. Algae is already used in hatchery feed, although in small volumes, and what we're aiming to do is to sell to both fish feed companies and aquaculture fish farms who want maybe algae as an add-on ingredient. Algae won't be 100% of the feed, it'll be a few percent of the feed, but it's a higher value, higher nutritional compound product. So those are the existing markets we will address. And to me, the exciting, biggest opportunity, most valuable opportunity which we're looking to work with is alternative protein, so non-food, non-fish protein, which I think is a real trend. And this is not about everybody becoming vegetarian, it's about maybe replacing the protein source on a few meals a week. That'll be the big, much bigger, higher value market for us to address in years to come. These are very important markets to address. Our process is obviously very sustainable. It's very easy to identify the source of the product, the supply chain, so it's very easy to demonstrate what the carbon footprint or sustainability is, which some of the customers in fish feed and food supplements want. Quality assurance is critical, and with our production platform we have an attractive unit cost with which to address these markets. So we're addressing existing markets, but at an unusually low production cost, and that's the disruptive aspect of the opportunity. That's why I've taken the opportunity forward now, having looked at it for 5 years.
I see. And why aren't people using algae more at the moment? Because I think you're going to concentrate first off on fish feed and the sort of the more lower end. Why isn't there more used at the moment?
It's partly been about cost of production or cost of ingredient, why it's not been a very popular product, but it's also been access to volume, to capacity. Is there enough material that we can source in the market? That's been the main challenge, and we're trying to. Well, we found a production technique that reduces the unit cost, which is important, and we've also we're aiming for slightly bigger production facilities, and after this round of implementing the plants in the business plan, we intend to expand the business further, and that's to go down that curve to supply more volume at an attractive price.
And how do you know, I suppose, how do you know that the process you're going to use works and can be scaled up? And then how do you know you can sell the stuff once you've produced it?
Those are two very good risks that you've identified. So on the production system, we're using a system that's proven at a certain size, so we're going to scale it up, and it's a scaling up exercise which is well understood. I think the risk is, based on my knowledge, a manageable risk, and we have some mitigation to make sure the expansion happens as planned. Actually, the yield we're forecasting from our system the yield per hectare, the yield per area square foot, is the same or less or very comparable to other production systems that we've been to see. So our forecast is not one where we are hoping for outlandish yields. We're expecting the same sort of yield, but we think our production system is significantly cheaper than many competitive systems, and that's why this is an attractive opportunity. It's the same sort of yield as many other people, but lower unit cost. And in terms of sales, will anybody buy the product? That's the biggest commercial risk in the venture. It's the one we're going to be most focused on. It's the one we're most concerned with, and it's we have to make sure the product is of the right quality and that we're a reliable supplier. And we have received some letters of intent, and quite a few customers have said that they would like the product, but the proof is in the pudding. We have letters of intent. Now we need to get to purchase orders and then make sure the sampling phase works well. We'll have to work with many customers in parallel, and that's what we're, as a management team, most concerned about.
So that's a few risks. In terms of Brexit, is that a risk too for you?
I don't really perceive it as a risk. If we get a lot of demand from the Scottish and Irish fish farming, the salmon industry, for example, we may by extension build a facility in the UK in the future if the trade barriers are such. We might do that anyway because of the cost of shipping.
So it's potentially it's a huge market, potentially. How big is this business going to be?
The addressable markets are enormous. We're a tiny company setting out to build some facilities, and we will run those as well as we can. The industry, the opportunity in fish feed is enormous, but very price sensitive. The opportunity in food supplements is decent, and the opportunity in alternative protein is enormous. It's a multi-billion-dollar worldwide opportunity. I could see myself building this business for a long period, maybe decades.
Is it a £1 billion business potentially?
It's certainly a multi-billion-pound opportunity, and what we want to build through several phases of expansion. This is I've been successful, and some of my colleagues have been successful in what we've created in the past, and this is an opportunity that deserves a lot of effort, and that's what makes us very excited.
And what could an investor expect, say, if they were in maybe 4 or 5 years? What sort of return do you think what would you hope they'd be getting? The
business plan says that in 3 years' time, the company will be producing enough EBITDA for the EIS investors to have an equity stake that's worth 1.5 times what they invested. That's the target opportunity short term, which is about securing the position, securing the starting point, and given that some EIS investors who are considering this round may want or even need to exit on a shorter term time frame, so in 4 or 5 years' time, for example, we would look to find a way of realizing those people who want or need to exit at that time. But the that valuation would not be the same as in many years' time with a much bigger business.
So just going back on ourselves a bit, how do you set these things up? Is it labour intensive? What are all the practicalities?
So a typical system design is transparent tube systems that have some solution of brackish, semi-salty water with microorganisms multiplying by cell division, mitosis, and the biogas, biomass which is produced, is harvested continually and then dried and stored in an inventory and then sent to the customers. So it requires some labor, but it's not as labor intensive as vegetable production. Some of the labor are quite qualified, so biologists and engineers.
So to summarise, if I was going to invest in an EIS today, which I'm looking to do, why should I invest with you? Very quickly, what's the opportunity and why should I trust you to do that for me?
This is a system which has been developed to a certain point that it's now a compelling opportunity to grow algae for these sort of food grade products. So that's it's a here and now opportunity. The opportunity in 5 or 10 years from now may have passed, and it was too early 5 years ago. But now is a great time to address the opportunity. That's also why I'm taking it to the market now. And the second, perhaps equally important point is, as a team, we've delivered a lot. We've seen a lot. We have our battle scars, and this is both a good fit for our skills, and it's an opportunity that deserves our effort. So it's an attractive opportunity, which I'm very happy to take to the market, having previously built some successful businesses and worked as an investor. So I'm very comfortable representing the opportunity to you and anybody else.
Fredrik Adams and Firglas, thank you very much.
Thank you.